Hey, good morning, how are ya? This is the morning walk, and you've joined for a walk on a very good day because this is Bowen on the north coast of Queensland. Wait 1 second, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It's a beautiful day, hey? Woo! That's not bad, is it? Tell me that's not a spectacular spot to come up and see a sunrise. Well, I've been agonising a bit over the last sort of week or two. The backstory is that, you know, we lost our business at the start of COVID. Essentially, a student exchange business. It was 13 years old, turning over $5.5 million, 12 staff, sending about 1,000 students on overseas study programs every year. And of course, international travel during COVID is not a very good business to be running. And so we had to close it down. We've been super lucky because now we're doing this trip around Australia, which is just an amazing thing to do. And as an aside, quite honestly, like I have no idea how we would have actually managed to keep running that business while we were trying to do this trip too. It would have been a disaster, both in terms of enjoying the trip as well as, for the benefit of the people and the business itself. So it's been kind of fortuitous that got closed down, but it does raise the question about what we do next. And the future's quite uncertain. So, but just what's definitely certain is that this view is absolutely spectacular. So beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's a beautiful day. Holy moly. I can see. True story. Earlier in the trip, like maybe a month into it, kind of came across these guys as we were traveling through, this older couple, so we were traveling through Western Queensland, and I said, "Hey, where are you from?" "I'm from Bowen." And I was like, "Oh yeah, Bowen, why do you live there?" Didn't say it quite like that, but they said, "Well, have you been there? Like, this is literally the most beautiful part of Australia." And I can see now what they mean. Oh, extraordinary. Anyway, back to my story. I had to close our business, and we've got this kind of doubt at the moment about what happens next. We're going to have to go and get a job at some point, or we're going to have to start a new business, but we don't know what that is. And while we've been doing this trip, there's been a tender come up to run a program which is called the New Colombo Plan. I'm so passionate about the New Colombo Plan. It's a scholarship program to help Australian university students to study overseas in the Asia Pacific. I actually helped to design the program back in 2013. Have helped been on the reference group. I've been up to my eyeballs in this program for years and years and years. So this tender has come up to actually run the program on behalf of government. It's like a $50 million program. So, obviously, if we were to win that tender, we go from, not being employed or just having like a small business to suddenly being very, very significant again. $50 million is a rather large contract. And so it's agonizing, right? Because we know all the stakeholders. I actually had endorsements from something like 180 of the key stakeholders. People who've said, "We will support your bid." And the actual work is bread and butter work for us. It's stuff that we have done day in, day out, looking after students, helping them to prepare, managing scholarships. So, you can't say you're guaranteed with a tender. Absolutely not. Like there's a very strict process to follow. But geez, we would have had like an incredible opportunity for it. But whilst, there's so much security in that, right? Like putting your tender, potentially win this $50 million contract, and life goes on. Something about it hasn't been feeling right. As I've been going through these kind of meetings and discussions, I've just been sort of having this nagging feeling that maybe this isn't kind of what I want, or isn't quite right for us, even though it provides, or would provide, like complete security, a complete path forward, and certainty for the next 4 years, potentially 5, 6, 10 years. And then I kind of realized what it was the other day, which was, whilst there would be financial security and there would be security in terms of work, and to some extent security for our businesses, it's like building a brand for somebody else. Even though that brand is something that I passionately believe in this program. This program is so important for Australia. It's transformational for young people, the people who do the program. But taking on this role, taking on like the contractor role, being that organisation doing all of the administration, might be worth like $50 million as a contract. But in the end, you're building a brand for somebody else. And I just realised that that's not what I want. I don't know what the future holds right now. It's completely uncertain, and that's overwhelming and daunting. But to some extent, I would rather turn my back on a $50 million contract and turn my back on that certainty to take my own path and blaze my own trail and build something for me, for my family, for us. That in the end feels like the right thing to do. And so, that's what we're going to do. We're essentially withdrawing from this tender process to step into the unknown and to follow our hearts. Is that crazy? It's been an agonising decision. But at the same time, I kind of look where we are every day when I wake up as we travel around Australia. And I think to myself, well, the flip side of not having that work certainty, not having the certainty of the income coming, is that we have freedom. We've got the freedom to enjoy all of these amazing places that we're visiting without having to stress about writing tenders and then do contract negotiations and all that kind of stuff. We've got the freedom to choose exactly what we do next. We have the freedom to be our own bosses. And if we want to turn left instead of right, nobody's going to tell us different. And honestly, I think in the end, that's worth more than $50 million. And if you think I'm kidding, if you think I'm nuts, think about Rupert Murdoch, who at time of filming is still alive. Dude's in his 80s, worth billions of dollars. If he could go to a 20-year-old and say to them, I will buy 5 years of your life, so he could live 5 years longer, what price would he be prepared to pay for those 5 years? Would it be $50 million? No. It'd be worth $1 billion. He would pay anything to have more time, to have more life. It's our most valuable asset, but we don't appreciate it. We don't value it the way that we should value it. So, I'm turning down $50 million, potential $50 million, a good chance at $50 million for freedom and flexibility. And my chance, my guaranteed chance, to create my own future. The path is behind you, it's not ahead. And if you fix yourself a path ahead, you've got no freedom. Whatever you're getting up to today, I hope it's a good one. It's a beautiful day. I'll see you next time on the morning walk. I'm not agonising anymore. I'm just going to go and enjoy this. Have a great day.